Hello, everyone. My name is Dawson Brown, and today I'm presenting my research on systematic inequalities in the NCAA NIL compensation, focusing on Black athletes. Let's dive in. Picture this: you're a college athlete waking up to find thousands of dollars in your bank account. Just for being you. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the reality check. Black athletes who make up half of Division One football and basketball players are securing fewer NIL deals that are considered high value than their white counterparts. Why? Systematic barriers rooted in racial and economic inequalities. My research explores how these inequalities in NIL opportunities, support systems, and leadership representations limit Black athletes' potential. This matters because fair access to NIL earnings isn't just about money, it's about giving these athletes the economic and professional opportunities they've earned through their talent and hard work. Let's unpack the research. I use critical race theory, or CRT, to analyze these issues. CRT shows how racism is embedded in systems like the NCAA through policies that seem race neutral but aren't. It highlights three key ideas: the preeminence of racism, interest conversion, where progress only happens when it benefits the dominant group, and the value of lived experiences. Applying CRT to the NCAA reveals how NIL policies favor athletes with access to wealthy networks, often white athletes, while Black athletes, many from under-resourced communities, struggle to secure similar deals. Black athletes are also underrepresented in leadership roles, like coaching, which limits their access to mentors who can get their experiences and see people eye to eye with like-minded individuals. Now, let's talk about a real example that brings this to life. Gregory Brooks Jr., an LSU safety in 2023, for over a minute. Um, I apologize. I just want to get into this and focus on the story because it shows how systematic biases harm Black athletes. Greg was a star player, but he was pushed to compete despite severe symptoms: nausea, vomiting, headaches, even passing out on the field. He was later diagnosed with a brain tumor midway through his season and needed emergency surgery. The LSU staff, mostly white administrators, sent him to a hospital where the surgeon was unfit for the procedure, and it was the quickest possibility for him to get in. Greg suffered multiple strokes during the surgery, leaving him permanently disabled with brain damage, relearning how to walk, talk, and eat. That's him on the right there next to his father, talking to Michael Strahan, a famous NFL alumni of the organization. And you can see he's in a wheelchair at the time. This is a couple months out of surgery. His father was devastated, and he also called out Coach Brian Kelly for the lack of care. He said he was basically absent, and he was extremely unimpressed with the lack of support care he had, and looked at his son like more of a good than as a human, a usable commodity, if you will. It reflects a broader pattern where Black athletes' well-being is cited for athletic performance, limiting their ability to build their NIL brand or even live a happy, healthy life. This case shows how systematic racism in decision making and support system fails Black athletes, reinforcing inequalities that CRT exposes. So, how do we fix this? I propose three policies. First, an NIL equity fund using 5% of the NCAA's $1.1 billion media revenue to provide Black athletes, especially ones at HBCUs, with marketing workshops, financial advising, and legal support. A 6-month training program would teach each brand building and contract negotiation, aiming for a 20% increase in NIL earnings within 2 years. Second, the bias review board, made up of diverse members, would oversee disciplinary actions to cut racial disparities in penalties by 50% in 3 years. Last but not least, diversity hiring initiatives to ensuring 20% of coaching and administrative roles are filled with Black individuals and Black athletes. Within 5 years, giving these athletes mentors that they can relate to. These policies, relocating existing revenue, target under-resourced athletes, and measure success through clear outcomes like earnings and representations. Right here is three photos of Beyond Football, which has already started implying this overall blueprint. And there's almost no other school that has it the same way that we do, thanks to Tobruk Blaine. She is one of the best working individuals with the San Jose State Athletic Department, really making sure everyone can transcend and thrive, making a cultivating experience. And I just wanted to point that out because she's already well on her way, but there's so much more the NCAA could do versus just one school. To wrap up my research, grounded in critical race theory, I wanted to show how systematic racism in the NIL policies support and leadership marginalized Black athletes. Stories like Greg Brooks Jr. reminds us of the human cost of these inequities. By implementing the NIL Equity Fund, Bias Review Board, and Diversity Hiring Initiative, the NCAA can create a fairer system. Imagine a future where every athlete, no matter their race, has tools to succeed not just on the field but in life. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing your feedback on Canvas. Thanks, guys. Oh,